including an appendix being removed.
Yeah.
This injury, however, could
that really sucks, doesn't it, guys? Hate to see that happen.
That'll really hurt your negotiation.
The calf injury could affect his negotiation.
I don't think that does. If you had like a torn ACL, that type of thing, especially having already had one, or if you ruptured the Achilles and you're talking about a long way back for an NFL player, maybe. But the first thing you think about, is he okay? Right? If you're a Bengals fan, your selfish interest, rightfully so, are, oh my God, here we go again. Super Bowl dreams out the window. Then you find out later in the day, the report at least is that it's a strained calf. Dodged a bullet because you and I even texted yesterday, looked like it could have been an Achilles, and that's a season ender and a career changer.
Yes.
But the next thing I thought at least was, there was a report that the Burrow camp and the Justin Herbert camp were trying to wait each other out, because the last guy to sign the contract extension is, in theory, unless you take less for your team, going to get the most money.
Correct.
All right, so Herbert gets his money, $256, whatever it was. And then the thought I had was, wow, could you imagine if you waited and then got hurt and then didn't get the money? Which is why I always say, when it's sitting in front of you,
get the money.
Get the money.
Don't
get cute with $250 million.
Do not get cute with
Sign it. So
immediately.
I would actually not be surprised if this escalates those talks. Player standpoint, I've been through a catastrophic injury once.
Mm-hmm.
If I go through it a second time, my value has to decrease.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, I agree. And I think this injury is definitely not a scary one in terms of like his, what happens to him on the football field, but a scary one just mentally as an athlete, being like, look, I gotta make sure I'm straight and my family is straight now.
Now, you made a good point earlier, if you don't mind repeating it here now. If you're in charge of the Cincinnati Bengals, he doesn't play again.
Yeah, he doesn't play another snap in this preseason. It just
games, practice, nothing.
For nothing. You don't need him to.
Right.
It's not like you got a new receiving core that you're trying to build the camaraderie or build the timing. He has that timing already with those guys. And they're going to get, now that they're able to just be in that meeting room and watching that film and getting deeper into that side of things, with him being injured, that's only going to help them.
So I want to be fair about it, your fandom aside, how does this negatively impact them, at least the first couple weeks of the season? Let's say they do what you're suggesting. Mm-hmm. We know who he is. We know what he is. Like you said, all the veteran receivers are back. There's not like a lot of new faces here. How does that potentially impact them in a negative fashion? Just from, a timing standpoint, same page, running routes, pop, that kind of stuff.
There is the rust. There's always going to be that. There's always going to be getting used to that game speed, since he probably won't have any throughout the entire preseason and training camp. So it's going to take a little bit to get used to that. But it's one of those things that, like, football is football. He gets that one hit, kind of get up, you kind of go through that game plan, you're back into the mode that you remember so vividly since when you were 10 years old, and then you get back into the flow of it. So we'll see what happens, but there'll be that initial rust, just like everyone does. They're athletes, we're human, and then he'll get into that flow, and then he'll be better.
Yeah, I tell you, and there were two reactions, right? There was the one reaction in Ohio, and then there was everywhere else. And we made a promise to you, we're never going to lie to you. I respect the Cincinnati, Ohio reaction. Oh, my God. That, and I get it. He's everything. He's the franchise.
Yeah, of course.
But if you're in Buffalo, Kansas City, New York, Miami, L.A., pick another town that's got Jacksonville, Baltimore, Cleveland. Mm-hmm. I know what those teams and cities were doing. Come on.
I just don't like that. I don't like that. You know why? Because you
have I disappointed you?
You hinging on people getting hurt.
No.
That's how.
I think
that's
an unfair characterization.
Yes, he's hurt. All right. We have a chance now. No, I don't believe in that.
Neither do I, by the way.
Oh, is that right?
I do not root for injury, but I ain't getting upset about it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's real.
The balance.
That's right. I'll be clear. I've never rooted for a player to get injured. I'm also not one of those guys that says, give me the hardest possible road to a championship. Yeah. When he went down, I had two thoughts. Thought one, That's pretty good for the Jets. Thought 2, gosh, I hope he's okay. I'm just, I'm sorry.
That's real. No, that's real.
And I'm not rooting for it, but that's how I reacted to it.
That's how you reacted.
The reaction was, that team's out of the way. Maybe Josh Allen gets hurt. That type of thing. But I want to be clear. I'm not rooting for it.
But you're putting it out in the ether.
I mean, let's just keep it straight here. As you say, let's keep it a buck.
It's just the energy. It's the energy
very
with
bad.
which you're saying.
Stop with that.
Very bad
karma at all.
I'm a Jet fan. I got plenty of bad karma built up.
I know.
4 years.
Why invite more?
I want to be clear. I cannot have this misconstrued. Enough people hate me on Twitter already. I am not rooting. I have never rooted for an opposing player to get injured.
It's a good start.
But when it happens, my reaction to it
say but.
is
You just leave it alone with what you said at first. Just leave it alone.
but I got to keep it real with the audience.
Okay.
I think they appreciate that. I'm honest. I'm honest with
and
the
that's
audience.
why you all over Twitter.
I don't root for it, but I ain't upset about it. Yesterday was a great day for the Jets. If you really think
I can't, man. I can't.
Headline
maybe
number.
Patrick Mahomes gets hurt.
Oh, no. Protect that man at all costs. How dare you say that
I
out?
I'm not rooting for it.
anywhere.
Can we go to the next headline?
Let's go to the next headline.
Headline number 2.
Yes,
After
Coach.
months of drama and back and forth, Saquon Barkley is reporting back to Giants camp, and here he is
Helmet, isn't it?
on reporting back at Giants camp.
Padding.
When did the NFL go to such big helmet?
Additional
Is that a new rule?
I don't
Is
know.
that one of those changes they made for player safety?
It's about safety.
Yeah.
It's about safety.
Aliens have arrived. Anyways, here is
We shouldn't even
Saquon.
have bubbles around, just bouncing off each other. I'm sorry. What did Saquon say? Let's hear it.
This.
Go ahead.
I had an epiphany.
Me too.
No, the reality of it is, I mean, one, I kind of just followed my heart. Obviously, I heard what everyone was saying in the news or social media, but I kind of just followed my heart. And then, you got to look at it as a business point. From a business view, I felt like what's the best thing that I can do? And some people may agree or disagree with this, and to sit out or sit in. And I feel like for this year specifically, the best thing that I can do for myself would be coming back, going out there, play the game that I love, playing for my teammates.
Yeah, look, everything he's saying is right. And I want to be clear about something because he acknowledged that, there are people out there that have a lot to say about my situation. And some people have been critical of it. I don't think any of us have been critical of it. But who cares what those people say? We talk about it a lot on this show. You got to do what's good for you and your family.
Correct.
And, he doesn't come from money. And yeah, the situation sucks. I think he's worth twice what they're giving him.
Agreed.
He's an all-world player. He's half their offense. All the accolades, he's earned every one of them. He also recognizes that the sport of football, for whatever the reasons might be, we're not going to get in the weeds on it, no longer value running backs as highly paid players, right? So this is your lot in life. It doesn't suck to make $10 million a year. I don't care what you do for a living.
Correct.
And my gut is, and I know you speak to him from time to time and have a relationship with him, and you'll see him on Sunday when you go there, is the epiphany is, I'm 26 years old, man. I'm playing football. I'm a football player. Right. And yeah, do I want $18 million a year? That'd be great. But I'm okay making 10 also. I also play in New York. I make a lot of money off the field. I'm a good-looking kid. I'm a smart kid. Companies want me to endorse their product. I can do very well for myself and my family. And if I don't play, I can very quickly be forgotten also. So I think it's an obvious choice. May not be great the way it went down, but I appreciate what he said, and I agree with it.
And he's thinking about his legacy. I think that's one of the biggest things he's thinking about, too, is how will I be remembered? This is a monumental moment in my career where I can either go left or go right, and how am I going to be remembered in one of the greatest cities to play in the world? And I think that's the biggest thing he thought about. My biggest setback or thing that really rubbed me the wrong way from a contractual perspective is the incentives.
Yeah.
Like, you made the incentives so difficult.
Well, let's get into that. Let's put it up so the guys can see it.
He basically just has to recreate his rookie season, which isn't easy to do at any stretch. It's almost nearly impossible. And not only he has to outdo his rookie season, not even just meet it. He has to, do a bit better than